What medical conditions actually prevent you from wearing a mask? My sister has severe epilepsy. Lennox-Gastaut. If she has a grand mal seizure while wearing a mask, she can asphyxiate and choke. She's also nonverbal autistic and doesn't understand masks, so she just rips them off. We had to get a doctor's note for her to be able to fly without a mask, and the airline was really accommodating with it. From combing the answers, it seems the most legitimate causes are autism and anxiety disorders. Of course, people can breathe through the mask. But I can see how someone with such a disorder could get freaked out by the lack of fresh feeling air. I shattered my nose a few months ago and couldn't wear a mask because of the pain. But as soon as I could tolerate it, I was wearing one again. I know a guy with autism who can't use a mask, otherwise he has a full-on meltdown. For whatever reason, anything touching his face triggers him. In my country, mask usage was controlled by law, no exemptions. He literally had to move back into his parents' place and lost his job cause even with medication he just couldn't tolerate a mask. FYI, for about 6 months you couldn't legally exit your house without wearing a mask. He almost lost his mind being locked up, but still had a meltdown every time he tried the mask. The only valid reason I have ever heard, outside of this chat, was PTSD. My aunt had some trauma from her birth parents. Apparently, they used to put tape over her mouth to stop her from crying. The mask brings those memories back and make it impossible to go about her regular life. Edit to fix mobile spelling issues. My nephew has a traumatic brain injury and masks cause him excruciating headaches. He had to leave his job because he couldn't wear the PPE for a full 8-hour shift without feeling faint and nauseated. But 8 hours is an extended period of time. I think some extreme cases of anxiety tied with claustrophobia as well as certain skin conditions are also heavily affected by masks. Anyone else claiming they just have an unnamed medical condition is just playing martyr. It's been said, but autism and other related disorders will prevent people from wearing masks. It can either cause extreme sensory distress, or they may not understand why they have the mask on and will keep playing with it or taking it off. The best answer is going to deal not just with what condition, but how severe is the condition. Most asthmatics aren't going critical every day. However, give them a severe allergy day, and we start to see air exchange problems. And a mask would be less indicated. If they are actually having an attack, it also wouldn't be indicated. Some people have sensory issues. Again, how severe are those issues? Some people can tolerate a mask for an hour or all day. Others will not be able to tolerate it at all. This would probably also bleed into claustrophobia a bit. Airway deformities, depending on the deformity and severity, would also be a reason. My son has autism. We found out the hard way on an airplane that he couldn't wear a mask. He is a big boy, almost 6 feet, and after wearing the mask for 5 to 6 hours with 2 more to go, something flipped in his brain. He was struggling from the beginning. This was before masks were a thing and we were the freaks for wearing them. And then started self-harming. It was heartbreaking because he was apologizing to me, his mother, as he was hitting himself. Once I restrained his hands, he started bashing his head against the wall of the airplane. I was terrified what the flight attendants would do if they saw him. I ended up sitting on top of him in a big bear hug. It was the longest flight I have ever experienced in my life. He can now wear a mask for about 10 minutes tops. But this is after 2 years of trying. Autism, hypersensitivity, autism-related condition, and epilepsy. Anxiety and PTSD. They covered my mouth when they did it. So yeah, it's a trigger. That said, The days where it's just too much to suck it up and wear a mask. I just don't go out. I'm not a complete dick. I have 2 autistic 4-year-olds. Were 2 when the pandemic started. They've been in occupational therapy for many sensory things, and added mask wearing to it. They are now up to 45 minutes to an hour being able to wear one. They have mask breaks where they are taken where they can social distance into their IEPs. And they can only handle public places for about that long anyways. So that's what we do. Some skin conditions that make any touch excruciatingly painful. As you can imagine, it's also very rare. People with autism are exempt, I believe. My mom with stage 4 lung cancer and wears a mask with no issue. Extreme claustrophobia. Some skin conditions and mental disorders are what I've heard as valid excuses. No ears. Mostly mental, psychological conditions. Those who struggle breathing with a mask on should be the ones that want to wear them the most. If your airways, lungs struggle with a mask, COVID might be a death sentence. Anxiety is a big one. Imagine the world closing in on you. I have experienced it a couple times and I am normally fine with a mask. It makes you feel alert and aggressive. You know nothing is wrong, but something feels wrong. You just want to rip the damn thing off. I have asthma, yeast, and idiopathic PVCs. Due to a long list of other conditions, my heart issues aren't well managed. Biggest on that list is very low blood pressure. So the heart medications can't be taken at useful dosages because they also lower blood pressure. Normally, I wear my mask just fine. And I wear it all day long. 5 days a week for work. But occasionally my heart will flare up the same time as my asthma. And then I just cannot breathe. I find if I'm walking 20 steps I'm gasping. My heart rate is at 160. And I'm reaching for my inhaler. It's a tough combination. Ideally, I would just stay home when I'm like that. But sometimes I'm already out. Or it's unavoidable. But it's pretty dang obvious that I'm struggling when that's the case, too.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.